Hello, everybody. It is not Tuesday, so it's not technically Bloobsday, but because I missed this week's Tuesday Bloobsday, I'm making a Bloobsday challenge. Now, I'm probably talking a little quieter than usual because I'm making this video pretty late at night and I don't want to awaken my two roommates because I'm sure my pet's barking and cat meowing or something probably does that often enough, and I don't need to also compound the problem with shouting about blueberries. Both of my roommates know how I feel about blueberries. But anyways, that's neither here nor there, other than the fact that I may have a more modulated vocal tone today than normal because usually I record these when everybody's not asleep. But that's okay because you don't have to be asleep when you're watching it. But you can also be asleep if you're watching. Like, if this is just running through on some like YouTube that you go to sleep to, also fine. Like, I don't really think anyone actually watches these, so it, however you choose is fine with me. Uh, It's just for fun. I love blueberries. I don't know if I've ever really told you guys the reason why I'm like blueberry lady. Um, but it's basically I used to do this bit like going on 10 years ago now, back in San Diego about how you could take your dimes, nickels, and pennies and put them into the Coinstar machine, and then it gives you a voucher, and you use that voucher at the Ralphs or the Vons um, to turn it from useless pennies, nickels, and dimes, which you would normally just throw in the trash, into wonderful bloobs. And I would do that bit, and of course, part of the bit was you got to take your quarters out first before you take your money to the Coinstar, because why would you pay the 11% on quarters? They are the king of all change. You can just use them as real money. Who knew? And honestly, people, when you pay with quarters, are not mad at you because they need those quarters. Like, if you pay at a fast food with quarters, then you're keeping that person from having to ask their manager, Diane, for more quarters. And then Diane is like, Mark, why are you going through so many quarters like this? I'm always having to get quarters for you. And Mark's like, because people be buying food, Diane, shut up. So when you bring the quarters in, you've just saved Mark from that whole interaction, and also Diane, although I don't have a lot of sympathy for the manager in any workplace. Sorry, not sorry. I was only ever a manager once, and it was a nightmare, and I'll never do it again. But so that's how it happened, because I was talking about quarters being the king of all change, and then I was talking about bloobs being the king of all foods. Well, the stuff about the quarters and the Coinstar, that's kind of whatever. Like, people think it's funny or whatever, but people really glommed onto the bloobs thing. Like, they went crazy. And the funny thing is when I said bloobs out loud, in my head, how I was spelling it was Blubes. Bloobs. I wasn't spelling it, I was just saying it aloud. Well, what everyone heard was how I spell it, as you see on my channel. Bloobs, like boobs, but with an L in there. And that's how people, like, at the time I still had Facebook and all of that stuff, and so people would be like, I love bloobs, and then they would start like tagging me. Like, anytime they were eat bloobs, they'd be like, well, I was thinking of you, and it just turned into this whole thing. I would talk on stage and be like, whenever I talked about bloobs, then I'd be like, I would talk about like bloobs from different countries, and I used to really talk about how um, all the bloobs were good except for sometimes Argentina, because Argentina has like a very sandy loam. And that's actually changed now after a few years of them continuing to work on their blueberry program in Argentina, and rehabilitating the soil to be better for bloobs. Now our Argentina bloobs that we got are on a par with all the rest. So that bit from like 8, 9, 10 years ago isn't even, I would never say that on stage anymore now, because it's not true, even though obviously when you're telling jokes on stage, you say a lot of things that aren't ever true or aren't currently true, but were true when you came up with that bit. But that's a little bit of background. And so because Bloobs ended up being so like, it was like a co-brand on my personal brand. Like I have my personal brand, which is me, M. Allen, but then Bloobs was like a big part of my personal brand, which again, as I always say, when you're coming up with your brand, it really helps to hitch your own personal wagon and brand to a already known and existing brand, because familiarity is the key to branding in general. I'm gonna fix this. There we go. If I'm gonna wear them both, I like them to be symmetrical. When I was a little girl, my parents always put the two barrettes in my hair, and my mom was pretty good at getting them even, but my dad was terrible. They would always be one higher than the other, and I just used to hate that. And so then later when I was older, I still wanted to wear the barrette, but I would just wear one barrette to be like, kicky, like, check me out, I'm asymmetrical, I don't care. Because actually the truth is we're all asymmetrical, but also I'm extremely asymmetrical because like my head is crooked, like on my neck, like my spine is like scoliosis to one side, so everything's all whack. So I used to always wear the one barrette, and then when I like grew up, I was like, I'm done with barrette. I don't need barrette. And I wasn't wearing it for a long time. And then when I had first started doing comedy, my friend DJ, who I had known most of my life, and so he always knew me in like all my barrette eras, like he like came to a comedy show with us one night, and he was just like, where's your barrette though? And I was like, what? And he's like, you wear barrettes, like that's your deal. And I was like, what? But then I did start going back to barrette, but still it was just the one. And then just this year, like for some reason the last like 6 or 8 months or something, I've just been on this kick of going back to my original like two barrettes. And so that's that. But like I say, that's the big challenge with the two barrettes, is because my two sides of my hair are not the same. So it's really hard to get them to stay the same. See, like I keep putting that, but then because this hair isn't as like solid as this hair, like the weight of the barrette starts to slowly pull it down. Fine hair problems. Like it looks like I have a lot of hair, and I do, but each one hair is like so super fine. Anyways, none of this talk is very much about bloobs, but hopefully it's enlightening for you as to what brings me here. So bottom line, I was in with the bloobs. I was talking about bloobs. I was being involved with bloobs. And that's when I got involved with the North American High Bush Blueberry Council and the North American Blueberry Council. There's the High Bush Blueberry Association and then the North American Blueberry Council. They're two different entities, but they work in partnership. And it's basically like most forms of produce have their own, like these councils, and they're partly industry funded and they're partly government funded. It's like a way that the government, because the government requires agriculture growers to pay into these funds which create these councils. So like that's why like when you have like the California Raisins, for example, if you remember back, if you're old like me and you remember California Raisins campaign of ads and those characters, those characters were created and paid for by the grape and obviously raisin growing council, which was funded, like I say, through the industry, but via this weird government like mandate channel. I'm not 100 why the government is like that about it, but I guess basically it's like they want to avoid situations where farmers are just growing and growing something that then like the consumers aren't buying or eating because it contributes to waste of food and waste of agricultural land and resources and everything. So they want them to have these councils which are for promoting that item, for promoting like asparagus or blueberries or, you know, bananas or whatever it is. So the Blueberry Council is what that is. And so like you can kind of join them as like an adjunct, like as a like how I filled out my form. I just said like just a fan. And they don't let you vote on things that are for like the industry because they're like you don't really know the industry, you're not in it. But they do let you be part of it and like involved to things and stuff. Like I've gotten like various like, you know, swag, like when I sign up for their like virtual conference, like sometimes they have swag boxes and stuff, and it's just fun to be part of them. Actually, last year I won a Yeti cooler from watching the blueberry commercials. It's great. The people are really great. I mean, people that grow and basically even just the people who are involved in the distribution and packaging and all of that for fruits and vegetables are actually some really awesome people, like really cool people who really like they have passion. Like they, if you talk to somebody that's involved in any of those type of things, like if you talk to a guy whose like deal is like green beans or something, and he's like he either grows green beans or he's like a marketer for green beans or he's like some executive for like a conglomerate of green beans or even just someone who works with them, even not as a higher up guy. Like when you talk to them and you go like, so what, you know, what are your thoughts on the current situation with green beans, or what, you know, do you have any ideas how I can get more out of my green beans? Oh, they'll be like, oh, you want to know about some green beans? Let me tell you about some green beans. And then they'll be like so stoked. And so that's why I'm always like this about blueberries, because for me, blueberries is the one. And I think honestly, I've made a wise choice because blueberries are the king of all foods. And so obviously I am aligned with the king, which is nice. So that's a lot of background, and we're almost at 13 minutes. So I'm going to have to whip through the challenge if we're going to stay under a reasonable amount of time for this vid. But also at the same time, as I always say, if the video's long, it's fine. Don't watch the whole thing. Watch parts of it. Don't watch any of it. I dare you. Are you mad? Don't be mad. Just turn it off. God. I'm not trying to be aggro to you, the viewer. But, I mean, if you, the viewer, hate my video, then I will be aggro to you, because why watch it then if you hate it? I don't understand why people hate watch things. So obviously our champion today is what I showed you before, actual bloobs. Today's bloobs are from Mexico. And they are actually, I'm going to shout out the brand today. It's Driscolls. The reason is because over the last several years, I've been involved with the Driscolls Advisory Council. It's a consumer advisory group where they do like focus groups and surveys and, you know, pulling in people's feelings and ideas and attitudes about blueberries and the other berries that Driscolls produces, which are strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries. But I've talked about Driscolls before when I had some of the Driscolls Sweetest Batch, which are proprietary strains of blueberries that they work on for like a decade to get them extra amazing. But so I've been in the Driscolls Advisory Council, and I just recently found out that they are disbanding it. I guess they have gotten all the research that they needed from that program. So I will be sad to no longer be part of the Driscolls family, but I will still be part of the Driscolls family because I will continue to be purchasing and enjoying their bloobs and sometimes the other berries too. You guys might think I never eat anything but bloobs, and that's actually not true. I eat a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. But bloobs is the one that Mama always comes back to. Sorry, Mama always comes back to the king. Thank you. Why am I calling myself Mama? I don't know. I don't know how or why people do things, including myself. Okay? So please don't be mad. But who is today's challenger? Well, this was a very exciting one because this was something that I found at Ralph's, and I'm not sure if it's because it's a Breyers brand, so I think you can find it at other groceries besides Ralph's. It's not Kroger brand, it's Breyers ice cream, but it's ice cream and it's called Star Spangled Scoops, and it's got strawberry, vanilla, and blueberry flavored ice cream. Are you kidding me? I have never found blueberry ice cream in my entire life. Not at a frozen center in a store or at a ice cream like parlor. It doesn't seem to be something that's normally ever done. My favorite flavor of ice cream, obviously besides this new one, which has blueberry, is actually mostly blue in color, and it's called Superman ice cream. And it's something that you can mostly only find in the Midwest. But it's not blueberry flavored. It's just blue in color and other colors. The reason it's called Superman is because it's blue and yellow and red, which is the colors of Superman's outfit, if you know Superman. But this ice cream is blueberry flavored, at least part of it. Now I'm going to show you. I have eaten some of this, I'm going to not deny, because we had some for my birthday. But you see there's the strawberry and then the vanilla and then the blueberry. So for today's challenge, that's what we're going to do. And I'm not going to eat the other two parts. I'm just going to take bites of the blueberry part. So it's a little melty because I've had it sitting out here for a minute while I was getting ready. But let me get a nice bite here and show you. There it is. It's so delicious, and it really tastes like blueberry. Like I say, I've never had blueberry ice cream, and it is so good. It makes me so happy because, like, the reason why I started making these challenges is because it always seems so special whenever I find something that's like not normally blueberry flavored that they have made into a blueberry version, because surprisingly there's a lot of things that don't offer a blueberry flavor. I think personally it's because the flavor of blueberries is rather elusive, in the sense that it's not a overpowering flavor. It's like a delicate, extremely nuanced flavor naturally, and it is hard to reproduce, or when you put it with some other flavors of things, sort of like when I've done the things where it's been blueberries with cacao, cacao, then that cacao, that chocolate, just, you can't always get the blueberry flavor from it, because blueberry is like, well, I mean, blueberries, they grow in the summer, and nowadays we're so lucky living in this world where they can grow blueberries in Argentina when it's winter here, and then send them to us and we can still eat them year round. But most of people's lives, of all humanity, they've only been able to eat the blueberries for a very short period of time while the blueberries are growing and are ripe on the bushes. And that is usually, like I say, mid to late summer. So that's one reason why, obviously, blueberry jam and blueberry preserves have always been a popular thing because it's a way to make that blueberryness last longer into the year. Or even blueberry liqueur if you indulge. So, another bite. I did some rearranging on my desk, and my camera thingy is like, I'm way lower in it now, right now. And I like could fix it, but I'm not. I told you, like, I'm just doing this now. All right, this whole video is going to be me eating ice cream if I don't stop this. But I will tell you, Star Spangled Scoops. The strawberry and the vanilla part are also very good. I mean, they're super tasty. But the blueberry ice cream is just like next level, dude, because it's so exceedingly rare and so precious. So if you get a chance to go out and buy some Breyers, not Dryers, because there I think is also Dryers ice cream, but this is Breyers ice cream. Star Spangled Scoops. You can't go wrong. It's going to be delicious, and you're going to be super popular at the barbecue. 4th of July is coming. So that is our challenger today, and I will say that challenger gets a lot of credit for being extremely unique and extremely tasty, and also extremely true to a blueberry flavor, which I imagine must be extremely difficult to do with ice cream, because otherwise I would have had blueberry ice cream before now. But let's get to our champions, shall we? First, I want to show you this giant boy. This was just in there randomly. These Mexican Bloobs, it's like they skew to the large, which is great because it makes them more exciting, I guess. I don't know. But as you can see with this handful, there's all different sizes to them, you know. It's a variety pack. The variety being all blueberries from Mexico. So let's give them a shot. I got my little handful, including my big boy. So here we go. Mexican Bloobs. I think I've told you before, I'm in love with Mexican Bloobs. I'm in love with Mexican Bloobs. I'm in love with Mexican Bloobs. But honestly, they're so good. Now, I think what you could do, if you really wanted to get a crazy, is serve your Star Spangled Scoops, have some sliced up strawberries and some whole Bloobs, and then sprinkle those onto the dish of ice cream, so you're having the real berries and the ice cream version of those berries. It can only enhance. Now, our challenger today, Breyers. See, I said Dryers. It's Breyers. I don't know which company started first, but the other one kind of, I think, did that on purpose. If Breyers was first, then Dryers must have been like, you know what we'll do? We'll just glom on. Remember what I said at the beginning about branding and how you like want to hitch your wagon to like a already existing brand? Well, that goes with like things where somebody's gonna kind of get it mixed up in their head between you and that other brand. It's kind of sneaky and kind of shady, but both companies still exist, so obviously either one hasn't completely, it's like symbiosis. I guess that's like the symbiosis of M. Allen and Bloobs. Unwittingly, the Blueberry Council puts up with me. I think they all shake their heads and are like, this lady. But you know what? They still let me be part of their thing because blueberries, like, they just make you feel good, and if you feel good, you can't be mean. Like, those two things don't go together. You're not gonna be mean when you're feeling good. Anyways, I think at almost 25 minutes of this video, with a lot of wildly varying and yet somehow always back on topic segments, we have come to the end of the video for today's Bloobsday challenge, and we have decided our winner. And it may come as no surprise to each and every one of you, as it does to me, not one bit of surprise, because no food has any chance against them. I have discovered a winner, and that winner is actual Bloobs. These from Mexico, these from Driscolls. I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill. I'm singing it kind of lullaby-ish because it is late at night when I'm recording this. So I'm going to sing it one more time, even more lullaby-ish. I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill. It barely sounds like the song. I'm sorry, Fats Domino. But you're not alive, so I don't think it probably bothers you very much if I change the song a little. That's it for today's video. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed our time together, even if you might not exist. And for that, I thank you. And I wish you a very happy Bloobsday every day. Because even though Tuesday is the official Bloobsday, just like every day can be your birthday if you want it, every day can also be Bloobsday if you want it. So happy Bloobsday. I love you. Have a good one.